Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Hey, today I have got a multimeter to test, this AstroAI, and they wanted to send me this multimeter to test. Also a multimeter test lead kit, so it's got different leads in it. I use multimeters all the time because I'm an electrician. I also work on electronics. I work on motorcycles, work on cars, all kinds of stuff, of different types of electrical. And a multimeter is just something you've got to have. So I usually use a Fluke. This is the AstroAI. Some will test it out and see, hey, it may be just as good because it actually has several features that my Fluke does not have. So I thought, well, because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and test it. Now, this is a 6,000 count true RMS digital multimeter. It has a lot of different features too, like I said, that my Fluke don't have. It has different color backlighting on it. It has a thermal indicator. It will test AC, DC voltage, AC, DC current, resistance, capacitance, continuity, diode test, temperature, non-contact voltage test. So basically, like if you was to hold it up to a receptacle without making contact with the wires, then it should beep and let you know that you have voltage there. Live wire detection, which you use the lead and see which wire is a live wire. And then it has a flashlight built into it, which is kind of odd to have a multimeter with a flashlight, but hey, I have been out times at night with a multimeter trying to test something and you can't see what you're doing, so the flashlight might be pretty handy on it. And then we got a set of leads here. It says two PVC lead extensions, 39-inch, two modular 4-inch heavy-duty test probe handles with banana plug clip, two alligator clips with removable insulators, two plunger mini hooks. The mini hooks are real handy. You can take those hooks and clip it onto something so you can kind of be hands-free. And then, of course, a user's manual. So we're going to open these up, check them out, and then we'll do a few tests on some things and some resistors and diodes, and we'll see how how accurate they are compared to what I'm used to. All right, so let's open the box on the meter first and see what's in here. Of course, we have a manual. It tells us all of our stuff in here. Should be our specs, different things, what all the functions mean, like the measuring the capacitance and how to use each feature. And here we have the meter. So it's a good looking meter, and it actually it don't feel cheap. I mean, it feels like a really good meter. A nice rotary display there. You can see the lights. It's saying that you need to plug in the leads. It's blinking at me. And you turn it to different things depending on what you're doing. It will tell you what you need to plug the leads into. So you can see as I switch, it will tell me where I need to plug in the leads. So we'll take that off. We'll take the leads out of here, out of this box. So we have, this is a temperature probe. And then these are our standard leads that come with it, which they look like actually a good set of leads. So you can see they have this on there. If you don't need just the short tip, then you can actually take these off and have that long tip like that, which is what I normally use. So we'll take right here and plug our leads in. You can see that they have a plug right in here to cap them off. You can see right here the black, put in the corresponding color, and then we'll plug our red one in here. Okay, so first thing I want to do is just, I guess we can test some voltage, test some DC voltage. If we're on DC, right here you can see we're on DC. This is the voltage. We push this button here, the function button, now we're on AC. So you would just want to be sure what you're on before you try it. You want to make sure that you're on AC if you're doing AC, DC if you're doing DC. This here button lights up the screen, and then if you hold it down, it turns on the flashlight. So we can turn off the flashlight, and then we can turn off that light on the display. Probably don't need it on for this video anyway. All right, so just to test it out here, I have this little breadboard and I have some parts in it. I have some resistors, some capacitors, a couple of LEDs, which are diodes, and then a diode, like a 4007 diode right here. So I want to test these resistors, so we'll put it on ohms, and then we will take and test across the resistor here. And that's pretty good because that's a 1K resistor. You can see it's showing 988. And then we test across this 120 ohm resistor. Shows 117.5, so that's really close to, because these are plus or minus 10%, I believe. All right, so now we'll do a diode check. We'll check this 4007 diode. We'll check these LEDs here. So we want to turn it to diode. And you can see we're not on diode check, so we'll push the button, function button. Now we're on diode check. So this thing should test about 570 or so. I believe that's what a 4007 diode will check. We'll see this. 571, so that's awful close to what I thought. So now we will test these LEDs right here. We will light up the red LED, 1.729, and the green, 2.584. So that's really, really accurate. So far, this is pretty much exactly the same as my Fluke as far as the readings. Okay, we'll put this back here, and then we should be able to push this button. We're on ohms right now, so we want to go to capacitance right here, and we can take this capacitor right here and check it, which is really close because that's a 2.2, and that's 2.26, so that's exactly right on the money. Okay, now we'll test this one right here. This is a 1 microfarad capacitor. So we test across here. That's pretty much what it's reading, 1.086. So that's really close, and that's what I would expect out of a good meter. So far, the meter is absolutely perfect. We're going to take this thing and test some voltages now. We'll test like a battery, and we'll test it on some 110, see what happens. Okay, so we'll test a AA battery with it first, which a brand new AA battery like this should read, they're 1.5 volts, but usually they read about 1.6 or a little over when they're brand new. So we'll see what this one does. And it's reading 1.629, which is really accurate, so that should be good there. Okay, so we want to test some voltage of All right, so we want to test some voltage of regular household current. So I have this extension cord plugged in. We will plug it in here. We'll turn it on. Then we need to put this also on. It's on DC now, so push the function, put it on AC. And we will check this. And there we have 119.8 volts and 59.9 hertz. So it even tells us the hertz, which is pretty handy, which we run 60 hertz here in the US, so that's pretty good. All right, so now while we're testing the 120 volt outlet here, we want to put it on this NCV live, and we can test the voltage here, find live voltage. So this should, when we hold it to this little tip up here, you can see here on the end it says, tells you the range, which is 90 volts to 1000 volts, 50 to 60 hertz. So if we hold this close to that, it is telling us, right there, it's telling us we're live. So a good way to test outlets and whatever, see if you got power without having to connect a wire. Also, if you want to test to see which wire is live on this, we should be able to push this function button till and it says live right here. Now we're going to take our positive lead here. There's nothing there. And down there, right there, it says live. So we know that this is our positive wire and this one's not. So that's pretty handy. You can find out which wires is live in a breaker panel, which if you're an electrician, you'd know anyway, but some people don't. So if you want to test to see which wire is the live wire, just do like that right there. It tells you which one's live. Okay, so when we want to test the temperature probe, see how it works, we will disconnect both of our leads right here. Get them out of the way. And then we'll take our temperature probe, and it should just automatically tell us when we plug this in about what the room temperature is in here. It tells you on here which way to go. So it says temp plus common minus. So we plug that in right here. We need to turn this meter onto Celsius and Fahrenheit right here. If you can see that, hopefully. Celsius and Fahrenheit. And it should be reading what the temperature is in the room, and that's probably pretty accurate, about 72 degrees. So one nice thing is it shows us our temperature. It's warming up because my fingers is on it. You see when I squeeze my fingers on this lead, what it does, the temperature goes up. I take it off, it'll start going down. But it does show us, which is cool, the Fahrenheit right here, and then this small one is the Celsius. All right, so as you can see here, I have a cup of ice, and I want to just stick it down in the cup of ice, see what our temperature reads. So automatically, you see how fast that was? It was really fast at checking the temperature. I mean, as soon as I stuck it in there, it dropped. There's 28 degrees. Pull this back out. It'll start warming up pretty quick. Put my fingers on there, really warms up fast. Back to 75 now, 79. Stick it back into the ice. And look how fast that thing reads the temperature. So extremely fast. 30 degrees, that's some pretty fast reading. All right, so now I went and got this, put some water in here, got it up to boiling temperature. Let's stick it in here and see what it shows on the boiling temperature. So it's reading 199. 200, that's cooled down a little bit because I brought it out here, so it stopped boiling, but it did get up to boiling temperature and then cooled down a little bit. So working pretty good. Okay, so let's move this aside and we'll go ahead and check out these, the lead kit. So this is the Multimeter test lead kit. See what's inside here. I have not opened it yet. And we got a Ziploc bag, which is good, so we can actually keep them all inside this bag and keep them nice and clean. All right, so here's the lead kit. You can see that we have a couple of alligator clips. So we have a positive and negative alligator clip, which is just your standard alligator clip that you can clamp onto something. So that'd be pretty handy. It also has the positive and negative regular leads. So you can put these on there and use them as standard leads. So here we have the nice little hook leads, and these are real nice. If you can see how this opens up, this is the positive of the hook leads. And you can see how that opens up and it's got a little hook. So you can actually take it, and if you got a wire you want to test the connection of, you can connect that on there and it will hold so you can be hands-free while you're testing something. To demonstrate on this board here, if I wanted to test the resistor and I needed another hand-free, I could take this lead and just clip it right onto the resistor leg and it'll stay on there. So these are really, really handy. So on here, we can remove all these little plastic ends, the little plugs that goes in here. And then of course we can plug in our standard leads like this. And we can plug in our alligator clips the same way. It just has a little male part down inside here and goes right on right there. So super easy to plug in. Same way with the ground lead. Plug it on like that, and then we can test with the alligator clips and basically be hands-free with them too. All right guys, so that's checking out the AstroAI multimeter. I'd definitely give it a big thumbs up. For the price of this thing and the quality that you get, you can't beat this. This is a really good meter. It feels really good quality. This is also, the model number of this is a M6KOR. And then of course there is the lead kit. You wouldn't need the lead kit for most people. If you're working on electronics, this lead kit would come in handy. But otherwise, for just general purpose use, just the meter would be fine. If you're a person who works on a lot of electronics and electrical stuff, you might want the lead kit because it does have the alligator clips and it does have these nice hook clips, which are, if you're working on electronics, these are a must. These come in real handy, especially on axial lead. Now, wouldn't be too good on surface mount electronics, but they will work on axial lead resistors and stuff like that. The lead kit and the meter is two separate items, so I will post a link to them below. Check it out below. Check out my Amazon store for all your other stuff. Thank you all for watching. Click the thumbs up on my video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Right on.